This episode of Unqualified is brought to you by State Farm, who has surprisingly great rates for your auto insurance. In 1999, my mom recorded me in our family room, delivering the lines for what I thought was a horror movie. My mom read the other roles, and I thought she gave a much better performance than I did. There was even a moment when I seriously considered not sending the tape because that would require a trip to the post office and an entire day's salary for postage. Not that I had a paying job. I was surprised when I received a phone call asking if I could audition in person. Then I realized that the casting director must have mixed up my tape with someone else's. I could have pointed out the error, but I'd never been to LA and wanted to go. So my parents gave me airline miles, and I flew to Los Angeles, Burbank actually, where I auditioned every day for a week and slept on 3 different couches. At the week's end, my friend with the least comfortable couch offered to drive me to the airport, and because at the time it was hard to find good Mexican food in Washington State, I wanted one last burrito. My pager began buzzing just as our nachos arrived. There was a payphone in the back of the restaurant, and when I returned the page, I was told that I got the role. It was one of the biggest surprises of my life. I was also surprised to learn that Scary Movie was actually a comedy. This was after my audition. Speaking of nice surprises, State Farm provides coverage that meets your needs at a surprisingly great rate. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Hey, Anna.
Hi, Sim.
How are you? You're still in Italy. So
yes.
Home stretch now?
Sadly.
What's on the agenda for the last part of the trip here?
We're gonna blast DMX throughout the Tuscan countryside. It's like you should be playing really romantic.
I just find the choice of DMX very, very curious because is he relevant right now, or is it just because you want to listen to some classic rap music?
I think DMX, in general, I call him my D. You know, it's a little bit of an aggression outlet. You gotta experience it sometime. Every once in a while.
I want to get DMX on the show, and I want you to tell him the story. I think it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, he's my D. I can't wait. Sim, if you have that power, please make it happen.
I'm going to try and make this happen. I can make a lot of things happen. Let's see if we can pull DMX in.
Yeah, where are my dogs at? Where's the hood at? Where are my bitches at? But he's constantly asking sort of where. And that's something that I'm also constantly asking. It's like, oh, where is Greve and Chianti? Or where is, Moltolcino? We don't know.
I've always said that you and DMX have so much in common. And
yeah, we're sort of wanderers that are questioning sort of existence and practical locations as well. If you can do that, then I already know that you're the best producing partner.
Best
friend
you.
That I could have. But if you get DMX, you're my dog for life.
All right, so before we get to Topher Grace, let's quickly go through some feedback from the Mayim episode, which is great. Anna, just to refresh your memory, so Alyssa just found out that the man that she's been dating for months has been engaged the entire time.
Yes.
And Mayim suggested a more confrontational approach through Facebook, but then leans away from the idea of revenge, calling it poisonous. And then Anna, you countered with the advice that Alyssa should resist all temptation to contact either him or his fiance because it won't bring a lasting or healthy satisfaction to the caller. Alyssa was unsure of whether or not she should contact the guy's fiance.
I have such conflicted feelings about, one, being a messenger, and two, the idea of closure.
I gotta tell you, the feedback that I got is saying that we weren't right. Let me see if this sways your decision the other way, Anna. So this is from Danielle. Danielle wrote, Okay, question. I just got done listening to episode 128 with Mayim Bialik. First up, I just want to say I love the show. I love Mayim Bialik, and I love this episode and related so much on motherhood, guilt, co-parenting, postpartum, and mental health throughout life. But I wanted to say on the advice that you gave Alyssa, I disagree, and I would tell the fiancé what happened. I'm speaking from experience, and I was in the position of the fiancé. My ex and I were dating, and he gave me the same excuses as this gentleman gave Alyssa with regards to posting our relationship on Facebook. Only my ex and I were living together, and he was leaving for the Navy. I was also 3 months pregnant. Well, on the day that he shipped out, he posted a photo on Facebook, and 2 girls commented on it. 2 girls that I had a gut feeling he was cheating on me with. But he constantly told me that I was crazy and paranoid. Well, I decided to comment on that same picture and make it clear that we were in a committed relationship. Well, one of the 2 girls came forward and messaged me on Facebook the truth about her relationship with him. And I honestly could not thank her enough for coming forward because it validated my gut feelings, and she was no longer talking to him by discovering this information. It proved that what I was feeling and what I knew in my gut was true. I kept this information from him until after boot camp, where he would ask me to marry him. And I decided not to marry him and confronted him about his lies and these women. And I showed him the messages that I received from this wonderful woman. At this point, he could not deny it any longer, and he told me the truth. Eventually, I ended the toxic relationship that continued to be filled with lies like this. But I wouldn't have had the mental and emotional strength to do that if this woman would not have come forward and told me about how their relationship extended past friendship. And I would have continued to think that I was insane for thinking he was talking and seeing other women. I would say that this woman saved me from bigger heartbreak and a potential divorce by just being honest with me. I would say that if Alyssa decides to reach out to the fiancé, she should be respectful, and she should just let her know that she had no idea about their relationship and wanted to give her the information to do with it what she chooses. So, Anna, that's from Danielle.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty powerful story.
Anna, remember when you said that people have a tendency to shoot the messenger?
Yeah.
So this letter I'm about to read from Leah, it's a little twist on that situation. So she writes, "Hi guys. So I've been on the other side of this issue. About 9 years ago, I started dating my ex-boyfriend for the second time after we had been broken up for 3 years. He dated this girl in between for the 3 years, and right when they broke up, we started hitting it off again. About 3 months into our relationship, his ex-girlfriend emailed me saying she just found out that we were dating again and that I should be careful because they'd been hooking up this whole time. I obviously immediately took this to my boyfriend, and he lost his mind. He called her every name in the book, told me she was always jealous of me. She just wants to get back at him, you know, all of that. I believed him, of course. People like him are very charming and convincing, and I responded to her email in a very nasty, nasty way. 2 years later, we break up for a whole other reason, but I had found proof that what he had said 2 years prior was true. For some reason, I decided that I needed to apologize to his ex-girlfriend for being so mean and for not believing her when she told me all of that. We started emailing back and forth about all of the crazy stuff that he put us through, and now, 7 years later, she's one of my best friends. So silver lining, yeah, wow. I'm sure this won't happen to that girl who called in, but just goes to show that people can be very blind to what's directly in front of them. My now friend had no reason to lie to me that moment, but I chose not to believe her."
Well, you know what's kind of amazing about both stories, though, both of the feedback, is that there's a lot of respect between 2 people. The second feedback, it took some time, but it's pretty amazing that in both instances people are connecting, and that's pretty incredible.
Does this change your mind at all about the advice that you gave?
I guess my bigger message was sort of I wanted her heart being protected, because I've been in situations when I've confronted, an ex about, potential infidelity or like why, and have felt kind of manipulated, like and most people can relate to. And I just wanted to make sure that Alyssa was protected above all things.
Yeah.
Because whatever happens, I just want to make sure that she's going to be happy and that she's going to be okay. But it's pretty amazing that, people connect over these ideas. And maybe, does it change your advice, Sim, or your thoughts? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm still one of those guys that says just let it go. And I don't know. I kind of agreed with your initial advice.
Well, and I also just think that it's ethically tough because, of course, like, the fiance should be aware. My feeling is that most of the time people are kind of aware, but they choose to ignore it.
Yeah. Agree.
The important thing is that Alyssa is not with this guy. So I'm not sure. It's a really tricky situation. And for her to have even any other degree of emotional investment in the whole situation puts her at a little bit of risk in terms of her life being consumed by a potentially, sort of a lashing out, angry fiance who probably suspects. The priority is always our callers, and I just want to protect them. But I do love the idea that in these two circumstances, that with our feedback, that friendships were formed and that it ended up being really positive. So I truly don't know.
Alyssa, you've got a lot to think about.
Sorry. Alyssa. We love you.
And now here's Topher Grace.
This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by Best Fiends. We all know there really is only one match 3 style game worth playing. It's the one with an actual storyline, cool collectible characters, and non-stop action-packed adventure. It's the one with literally thousands of challenging puzzles to solve. And yes, I'm using the word literally correctly. Of course, I'm talking about Best Fiends. You meet your best fiends early in their careers. They don't have much experience, but they have heart. I recognized a little piece of myself in each of them. And so I began to assemble the perfect team. I watched them grow as we solved puzzle after puzzle, working hard and playing hard. Today, my best fiends are ready to go anytime and anywhere. I'm really proud of what they have become. With new challenges and levels added all the time, there's never a boring moment. So download Best Fiends free today on the App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends. This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by The Pill Club. Do you need to renew your birth control prescription? Want to switch your birth control? Maybe try it for the first time. Whether you know the brand you want or you're looking for help finding the best option, the Pill Club medical team has your back. With the Pill Club, you'll never have to make a trip to the doctor or wait in line at the pharmacy. The Pill Club is a birth control subscription prescribed by a medical professional and delivered straight to your door for free in discreet packaging. The Pill Club carries over 120 FDA-approved brands. Most brands of birth control are free with insurance or Medicaid. Otherwise, prices start as low as $7 per month without insurance. Right now, when you go to thepillclub.com/unqualified, the Pill Club is offering a $10 donation to bedsider.org for every unqualified listener who becomes a patient. Your donation will help low-income individuals get access to birth control through bedsider.org. That's thepillclub.com/unqualified to get your first birth control care package. That's thepillclub.com/unqualified to get your first birth control care package and donate to help more women in need of affordable birth control. Remember, thepillclub.com/unqualified. You must use the link to make a donation.
She was so cute.
Do you like wearing the headphones?
I don't, but is that a problem? There's no one to hear, right? Until the callers do the thing?
No, but it's really fun to hear my voice, like, reverberating between your earlobes.
I just don't like my voice.
Well, you're going to have to put them on later.
I will. I happily will.
Topher Grace and I played twins in a movie, and we were just talking about that.
Who would believe that someone as ugly as me, someone as gorgeous as you, would come from the same womb? Nobody. What fictional movie was that?
Competitive spirit was starting to get in play with me being bossy.
That actually, that did read, yeah.
Topher, thanks so much for being here. It's amazing to see you. I can't remember the last time I'd
saw you.
It's great to see you. Can I say something that I thought of in the car on the way here?
Yeah.
That before we get into the relationship stuff.
Yeah. I
realized but I've been in Hollywood 20 years this year. And I realized
congratulations.
Thank you. And it's over now. I'm done. I realized that the reason you come to Hollywood is different for everyone. You know, some people see a movie or why people come here is all different. But I think the reason that I have stayed
is because of
what's that?
Me?
Because of you, yeah. No, but actually, to be honest, it's because working with people who are creative geniuses, which I believe you are one of the creative geniuses I've worked with, are like...
Topher, thanks.
You know, it's why it might not be why you start, but it's definitely why you should stay.
Well, first of all, thank you.
This
very
isn't
much.
something that nobody knows.
But I'm all flustered.
That was a mic drop, by the way. If anyone can't really see
I dropped my mic.
We were talking just a minute ago as we were eating our chicken wraps about the movie that you made.
I said you were a genius.
That you cast.
We're just going to move on?
Yeah, we're moving on. We'll get to compliments.
Oh, later? Oh, that's the later part? Okay.
You were talking about how, like, learning from failure. And that was kind of remarkable.
Going from you being a genius into my failures? All right.
No, but like, but that is how you learn, right? Like,
for sure, yeah.
And the idea, I guess, that you come here to pursue a wild dream that, you know, the chances of something actually happening and succeeding and being able to make money off of doing something that you love are slim, but you either have parents who are completely, they've made you delusional, like Sim and I. Did your parents make you delusional? Were they like, you can do anything?
Oh, yeah, yes. They were very, like, too supportive. But I think not enough is made of failure. I think you're right. Like, of how wonderful that is. You're probably alluding to the film that you and I starred in that opened number 11 out of 10.
But
on opening weekend.
But I'm really proud of that movie, and it was amazing to watch you be, you know, this incredible producer, and you were telling me like what you were proud of, and if you don't mind talking a little bit about that, like being like your casting decisions and just being able to create a movie from inception through completion. My personal belief is that the film comedically was a little bit ahead of its time and maybe a little bit scary for a major studio.
Sure, yeah.
But will you talk a little bit about that? Like,
what's the name of the movie? I know the name, but tell our listeners.
Take Me Home Tonight. When we were shooting it was called Kids in America. So during press, I was confused all the time, but I'm just always confused.
It was such an interesting experience. I had this moment where we could get this thing made, and I had a great piece of advice from someone as it was coming out. It was shelved for a little while because it had so much cocaine in it, which about being ahead of its time. It was both behind its time in that it took place in the 80s and ahead of its time in that cocaine's back. But the piece of advice I got was just own the whole thing. I had the idea with a friend of mine, and we brought it into a studio, and they made it. And there are plenty of people along that trail that you can kind of, I've noticed this in Hollywood, like a lot of people will say like, man, that would have been perfect if just the studio hadn't done this, or if this producer hadn't said that. But truly, we had the idea. We, helped work on the script. We cast it. We did every part of it.
And you were
acted
like,
in it.
Oh yeah, that sex goddess Anna Faris must play my twin.
My sister, right. By the way, quick aside, I went in to read with Anna for What's My Number soon after, and we had this real brother-sister relationship, both on and off camera. And in the audition, I had to make out with you. Oh. And it was, it's on camera somewhere, some piece, hopefully it's destroyed at this point. And I couldn't do it. It might be the worst audition of my life, because I was like, we just played like twins. Like, I can't do this.
And you probably have been watching my face in the editing room.
I've been in the editing room, watching you and whatever. But that is probably the worst audition of my life. And also I think you said
true.
Oh, the heat.
So Topher was also telling me that in the testing audience for Take Me Home Tonight, apparently women didn't like it that I swore a lot.
They probably hate this podcast.
But the testing audience is that sort of, it's helpful but flawed. And I think as an actor, you don't ever want to read the cards.
Oh yeah.
It's
Did you have to like cut out some of the cussing?
Yeah, we had to go in and do a full cut. It was funny because I thought, I don't know how I'd feel if it said men didn't like that Anna was swearing, but the fact that a large portion of our audience kind of tuned out because, I don't know, they thought they were buddies with you and they didn't like that you were being, and I remember being in the rehearsal where we were like, more swears. Like just like
fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah, go for it. By the way, that leads me back to the failure thing is that I remember...
My mom must have been in the test audience.
That's right. They were all in the same handwriting, all the cards. I remember saying to you, like, you should swear more. And so what was great at the end of that experience was after all the tests and after it came out and just belly flopped, was that the advice I got was really own it. Don't put it off on someone else. And I'm really glad I didn't because it was so valuable. You could never learn more. I've thought like you couldn't even go to a college program where they teach that much. Like the professors don't know as much as I learned doing every element, you know, meeting with the studio and then auditioning actors. And when I produced again, I had this revelation where I thought, oh, this is the greatest experience.
Do you trust your collaborators? Like, because I had an experience, you know, producing What's Your Number, and the lessons that I learned, most of which felt like, why didn't I fight harder for some of the things that I believed in? And I have no idea if that would have made it more successful or not, but at least it would have maybe had a little bit more of maybe my point of view with the vision, I guess, but who knows? That's probably
But now I bet anything that you produce in the future, you will, and that's the gift of that experience, right? It's the gift of having a podcast, right? Yeah, I've noticed that you really speak up around here, really yelling at everyone, and it's weird because when you started recording, all of a sudden you stopped yelling and you're acting all nice.
I know,
What's
I know.
that?
It's a good act, right? Like I've got a big grin on my face. Oh, okay. So also, this is also something that feels a little bit delicate, but you changed my life in a number of ways. And
Are we recording?
yeah, we're recording.
Right.
But sometimes when you're in a relationship, the people that are closest to you can't tell you it's not great because you won't hear it. You know, your defenses get high, and it's like, well, you whatever. Like you don't know him like I do, whatever. And I was in a relationship when we met, and you were like, you said, Anna, what the fuck are you doing?
I read the book, Anna. I read
You
the
read?
book.
You did?
No, I got the audiobook because I thought
good.
I really want the
You
experience.
love my sexy voice.
Yeah, and I
But anyway,
remember it a little bit differently.
Okay. All right. Well, isn't that
But
the way
this is
memory
over
goes?
a decade ago, right?
I think there's an interesting idea in that sometimes it takes like a new friend or somebody that you respect to give you a different kind of perspective that you suddenly hear.
Here's how I remember it, which is basically the same thing. So it's basically what is in the book. I didn't have a ton of time because I was producing and acting in that
And
thing.
you like learn your fucking lines.
No.
I know. I just
didn't say that.
no. I just was wondering if that was the subtext.
Oh, no. Yeah, I was like, look, I can't deal with all this. Like, I don't need to hear about your personal life. No, I thought you were amazing. I remember on the first day of shooting, you took my producing partner aside and was like, my cat needs this kind of sushi. But so serious that he came to me and was like, hey guys, I think we need to get like a specific kind of sushi for her cat. And then later I went up to her and was like, hey, is this sushi thing real? And you were like, oh no, not at all. Like, I was just messing with him. Which already I was like, oh God, like what an amazing, I mean, that's not even going to make it in the movie. Like, that's just a great joke. So I thought you were amazing. And I thought we were doing great work together. And I was watching you do work because I was on set the whole time. So I was watching you do great work that I wasn't a part of on screen. And I had saw that you were having some issues. And you're right, I didn't know you well enough to say this. And I can be pig-headed with giving advice sometimes, which most people probably don't like, but you happen to like. But what I said to you, I think, if I remember it, was you came into my trailer and we're talking, saying like, I don't know, and there'd been some issues. And I just said like, I don't have a ton of time. I got to run and do this thing. But you know how, like, you have that girlfriend, Anna, who's like, like Betty can't figure it out. Like, why is Betty like with that guy? You know, like Betty, you know, like, oh, she's so great. Why can't she figure out? Why is she? I'm sure every guy kind of has a guy friend like this too, but every girl I know seemed to have a Betty. And I was like, you're Betty in this situation. I gotta go. Like, just, I think I really said something like, look, it's because you're so cool and such an intellectual, really. And I was like, I think you can understand this on top of, you know, what it sounds like. But like, either like do it or don't. But your life's probably gonna suck if you don't do it. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Get out of my trailer. Gotta get to the fucking set. I'm a producer on this shit, Faris.
No, but I think I was actually tickled that you listened, because I think I've given that kind of advice to people, and it's been met sometimes with.
It's because I respect you so much, and it was something I think subconsciously that that I was begging to hear. Okay, wait, one other moment from.
Yeah. When else did I change your life?
Okay, well, right now.
Right.
So we had 40 days of night shoots.
Yeah.
We only had 1 day shoot, so. We're all in Phoenix, and we've got this young cast, and we have, because the movie takes place over one night, we had a lot of the same background. Do you know what moment I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
No, you can please tell the story. It's my favorite story, maybe, from the movie.
And they're all locals, and I'm sure you paid them very well, didn't you, Topher?
Yeah, that was where our budget went.
So we would see the same group of young actors, like maybe 40 of them.
Yeah, and we said it has to be people with long hair because it was the 80s. So like, to go and put out a flyer in Phoenix, Arizona and say anyone with long hair is hired. It's like a very specific demo.
And there was one young man who just seemed a little bit erratic. And because I want to be gentle with this, but it was one of the more amazing experiences, I guess, that I've witnessed, and I'm glad that I wasn't you. So you could feel like his energy. He was kind of, he was antsy. He was very antsy. We're doing sort of the climactic scene where you are giving a monologue about, like, this is your moment. And, and it's probably, 4 a.m.?
Yeah.
And everyone's eye sort of keeps, like, drifting over to this guy because you can tell his energy is just getting, like, I don't know how to describe it, just more and more kind of manic, like he's not staying on his mark, and whatever. And he was young, and then suddenly, like, in the middle of this incredible monologue that you're delivering, where you are like you're completely it's the moment of the movie, and you're very passionate, and suddenly we all hear cut. And you were like, who said that? Who said that?
No, this happened like 5 or 6 times, because
it did happen.
It's a huge crowd. Yeah, because we would watch it in the editing bay later, the raw footage, because it was filming every time. Which is, he had Tourette's, and I guess if you want to yell the worst thing that you or you don't want to yell, you would yell cut.
It was.
And I was like, who keeps cutting the scene? Like, this is going well, I thought.
So it was
kind of brilliant. I mean, he's a smart guy. That is the worst thing someone could yell.
Yeah.
Like, if you yell, like, that's the worst thing you could yell on a
fucking
set.
cunt or whatever. Cut is incredible, and I was just so glad that it wasn't a monologue that I was.
The takes of me, we should have put it on the blooper reel, I guess, or something. But is that the director? Like, because the director was far away because it was such a big crowd scene. But
it was so it was like you could tell how badly he felt. Like, you could feel it.
That summer it was like, you don't think you're going to go to camp again because you're way too old for camp. And then, like, we had one extra summer of camp, so it was like such a great group of actors, and it was nights. We had to stay on. Yeah, we had to stay on nights over the weekends because we didn't want to go back onto the daytime time zone. So we'd like wake up and go onto a party van.
Yeah.
And like drive. Oh my God, that was crazy. That was so much fun.
It was great. It was like camp. Thanks, Topher.
I didn't mean for it to happen. We were all staying in those condos all in one area. It really was.
Would you call them condos?
Yeah.
We're across from Target.
Yeah, it was. We went to a
there was
IHOP.
asbestos.
Look, whoever who didn't tune into your relationship advice show and wants to hear about a movie from 11 years ago, all the behind the scenes, no one cared about, by the way, when the movie came out. This is what happened. There was an IHOP right across the street, and that's where we ate breakfast, which was appropriate in IHOP, but maybe only you want to do once a year. And then lunch and dinner every day because it's the only 24-hour place. Oh, God,
Yeah.
that's so much IHOP that year.
Well, you do like pancakes
I like a good pancake, yeah.
and Benihana.
That's right. There's someone who just like bounced out of their relationship. Like they tuned into the show to get advice on relationships, and they're like, I'd rather just be alone.
You did break up a lot of relationships on that.
That's you weren't the only one. I mean, I went around to everyone. What are you doing with that loser? Like, get out of here.
Okay, we're going to do a little thing. This is called Deal Breakers. You have to imagine that you are single.
Got it.
Okay. Is this a deal breaker, Topher Grace? She ran a That 70s Show fan website in the very late 80s.
It's great. I dated
sorry.
this girl, but go ahead. No, I'm just kidding. That's how I met my wife. I'm kidding. That's not how she had never watched that 70s show.
But I'm just wondering.
Would I date something? No. You know how I am with that stuff. Like,
I mean, I sort of know. But you also, who doesn't like a little fan worship? She insists on feeding you a bite of everything that tastes good.
Or does it taste good to me or it tastes good to her?
Tastes really good to her.
I'm going to tell you the situation I'm in with my wife right now. She only says, try this when it's probably terrible. You know what I mean? Like, try this. Like if she says weird look on her face.
So
it's not a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker.
She dated one of your co-stars.
Yeah, I think that would be a deal break.
Would it be dependent on which co-star?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Hey, let's say Mila Kunis.
She dated Mila Kunis?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not a deal breaker. It's on. Why? Who are you talking about? I would date anyone that dated one of my co-stars. In fact, that's the only way I date people.
She thinks tampons are oppressive and refuses to wear them.
You're not answering any of these? These are just for me?
Yeah.
All right. She thinks tampons are what?
Oppressive.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not a deal breaker. I mean, I don't know. What does that mean?
Well, she's a feminist. Maybe this dialogue goes down on the first date or second date. Let's say
I would say,
second
yeah,
date.
maybe that's a bit of a red flag, but I have no problem with it. I just think as long as it doesn't affect your day to day, all good, right?
Okay, you wouldn't explore why the philosophy behind it?
I would say there'd probably be other red flags too. That can't be the only thing that's going on there.
Well, yeah, she's pretty assertive in her passions about femininity and being a feminist.
Anna, who is this about? Specifically.
She believes that that vaginas should only be filled with penises.
I gotta say, sounds like not a deal breaker.
Personally, I find it a little confusing about who this person is, but I like her.
So you wouldn't date her, you know what I mean?
When she climaxes, she meows.
I mean, I honestly think I had a thing like that. Not a literal cat meow, but what? You can't judge that stuff, right? Come on.
But what if it's just the tiniest meow? God,
I really miss working with you. I really meant what I said. It was great. It was I think we had equal stuff off the set that was funny as on the set. We did a whole James Lipson thing? You don't remember?
Oh, God. Wait, yeah, remind me about that.
We just started doing for the making of thing. We were doing a James Lipson thing. I was interviewing someone else. And then Anna ran in and was like, hi, I'm a second-year student, first-year drama, and gave a 20-minute, first-year film, minoring, and then...
Oh, I had to make it all about me, didn't I?
No, it was genius. It was really creative, awesome summer camp.
Okay, quick yes or no. Professions you wouldn't date. Flight attendant.
Sure, I'd date a flight attendant.
Bottle service girl.
Date? I mean, what does date mean? I date her. Fish.
Price is Right model.
Sure. I mean, I can't think of the profession that I'd say, no, I'm not going to date you because of your profession.
An intern at TMZ.
Oh, you did it. I'm out. That is intern. I'm a non-paid. Like, there's no reason.
Criminal defense attorney.
Sure, yeah. It'd be... Oh, criminal defense? Yeah.
Animal psychic.
That's a tough one. Sure, yeah. Find out what my dog's thinking.
I just always feel like with that idea, unless, I mean, it would be amazing to date an animal psychic, like if she always like said hysterical things that your animal was thinking.
Like that just aren't true.
Like, your dog wants more cotton candy. It's crazy about spun sugar. Like, oh my God.
Yeah,
The last one is storm chaser, a camera person.
yeah,
Yeah?
definitely, yeah.
Okay. Are you sure?
I am sure. I am also sure that this is making me sound really slutty, this whole list.
I know. You know what we should have qualified? We should have said like professions maybe that you wouldn't date long term.
Oh.
Are any of these long term?
Because this, I feel like your approach is like, is this a one night stand? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Criminal defense attorney is probably the one that's long term out of this group right here.
Oh, sure.
What?
Yeah.
Come
You're
on
forgetting
now.
about the bottle service, girl.
Yeah. Wait a minute now.
Yeah, free
And
bottles,
also,
dude. Free bottles,
listen,
free sparklers.
listen. I admire anybody who can make a living off of doing something that they like.
And her passion is
Yeah, flirting.
flirting.
I apologize to the service industry of once which I was a part of, and I admire it. Were you ever? What was your
I
worst
was a
job?
bottle service girl for a little while. Yeah. The hardest part is that kind of, flirting, but not opening that door.
This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by Intuit, powering products like TurboTax, QuickBooks, Mint, and Credit Karma. Intuit works for what you work for, and it was only recently that I found out they were working for me. I've been using QuickBooks for years and more recently began using Mint, which is an easy way to create monthly budgets. It was a bit surprising to realize how much I could save by learning how to make coffee. With Intuit, artificial intelligence can predict your future cash flow, recognize a misplaced digit in an account or routing number, and even connect users with live experts who can assist with navigating life changes or help with unique tax situations. Everything is automatically organized as you track your personal or business expenses by scanning receipts, invoices, and other financial documents, while smart budgeting tools let you know before you overspend. Innovative features like these make managing your finances simple, but as you probably already knew, innovation is at the core of everything Intuit does. Discover how Intuit's products can help you see what's possible at Intuit.com. That's INTUIT.com. This episode is brought to you in part by Plant Botanical. As everyone slowly comes out of hiding, many of you are asking the same questions. Am I ready for actual human contact? Should I swipe right? Will they look like their picture? Do I look like my picture? Is that the face of an axe murderer? Do I really want to take off these sweats? And for those of you who get that far, what drink should I be casually sipping? I have the answer to that one. While your date sits awkwardly silent, stunned by your good looks, dazzled by your intellect, or wondering how to dispose of your body, the drink in your hand should be delicious, refreshing, crisp, clean, Plant Botanical Vodka Seltzer. Weighing in at only 1 carb, made with real fruit and botanicals traditionally used for stamina, immunity, and detox, Plant Botanical is already thinking about your future encounters. Follow and DM at Plant Loves You and share a story or video of your funniest, wildest, or most awkward date for a chance to win up to $1,000 for your next one. Plant Botanical, your perfect companion while you look for your perfect companion. Available at Target, Pavilions, Vons, Total Wine, or visit plantlovesyou.com to find a store near you. Plant Vodka and Vodka Seltzer. Just the good shit.
I remember years ago you were telling me a story about how because I used to go out with Wilmer in New York back in the day, and I remember you were telling me a story about how you went to one of the hot clubs in New York with Wilmer.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this whole story right now. Do you edit this program, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just cut this whole thing out if you want to.
No.
And I love Wilmer, and I just saw him for dinner a month ago. We're still really
Let's
tight.
call him Bilmer.
This is a different guy. This is Wilmer Valderrama.
Because he loved clubs.
Okay, first of all, Wilmer is one of the great humans of all time. Like,
He's so great.
really, my dressing room was right next to his, and it was my luck.
I've never met him.
You've never met him?
I don't think so.
Oh my
Sorry.
God, you would really love him. Like, he is a great human. He'd just come from Venezuela, like, I want to say, like, less than 2 years before he got that show. He did one Pac Bell commercial and then was, starring on a show. And he didn't know English very well at the beginning. He kind of learned it as the show went on. And he is a truly great spirit. I mean, when I'm talking about people who I think are comedic geniuses like yourself, everyone on that show was doing kind of like a character that you'd seen before, like he was like coming from Neptune. Like, I don't know what that character was. And he also loves going out, and life is a banquet for that guy.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Life is a banquet. Can I steal that?
I think it's from Auntie Mame.
Oh.
So we're in New York. I was doing the Spider-Man movie in New York, and I guess they were on hiatus. He was still on 70s, and he said, "Hey, I'm at this club." I was like very boring my whole life. I still am. Now it's like I'm supposed to be boring, but back then it was like he's the boring one on that show for sure. I never acted before 70 shows, so I whatever. I was not ready to go party all the time. But we're in New York. I had some time off. He had some time off, and I said, "Hey, let's have dinner tonight." And he said, "We're going to a Nobu, and then we're going to, out to the club,
Stereo or Marquee,
I think,
whatever, yeah, one of those two."
And I said, "Why don't I come with you? Well, we're just gonna have another dinner another night in the West Village. If it's me," I was like, I want to roll with you." So he said, "You got it." So it started with his bodyguard. What? Like, I didn't have a bodyguard. Like, Mila didn't have a bodyguard. But showing up,
Big dude.
cool, great guy.
Great guy.
Showing up at my apartment, being like, "Let's roll." And I was like, "All right." So he had a 4-wheel drive limo thing. In New York, you don't have to. They have limos driving around all the time. You just, whistle and they stop. You don't have to do that. But it was like, whatever. So we get into that car and we go to Nobu, and Wilmer's there. I'm talking like the driver, and everyone comes in, and we're at this huge table. It was like in Get Shorty when he makes that order. He's like, "I'd love tuna shavings and a spiral, like in a plate this big." And they're like, "You got it." Okay. And they just showed up with it 20 minutes later. So then we went to this club, which was the hot club. I mean, I could never even get into these clubs, and he'd obviously done a lot. And I go to get out, and no, we got to wait for the club to get right. I didn't know what that meant. So we just stayed in the car. We're like listening to like loud music in the dark car, and there were lights. And I was like, "Isn't this essentially what we're gonna be doing in the club?" You know what I mean? Like, it's the same. No, we're just getting. I mean, I already was like really tired at this point. And then the bodyguard came out and said, "Hey, like, it's ready. Like, it's hot or whatever." So we walked in through. I've never had an entrance like this before. We walked in through these double doors, and the DJ goes, "Oh shit! Look who's in town."
Bilmer.
Yeah, Bilmer. And on the turntable goes, "California Love." And he throws the mic. Wilmer catches it with one hand and goes like, "Make money, money, make money, money, money." And the club goes insane. And I was like, whoa, I am doing it wrong in life. Like, this was unbelievable. Like, I mean, people were jumping. It was like an 8 Mile, and the whole crowd was jumping up and down, and he's, tossing $20 bills out in the crowd. I was like jumping out to get some of the 20s, It's crazy.
That was the first time you guys had like been out together?
That was also the last time.
Did you guys go home together? No.
20 minutes in, I was like, "Hey, thank you so much." Like,
Thank you so much.
Yeah. That's the worst part. You were never one of those people, Anna. You were never going to clubs.
I wanted to be one of those people, but
yeah, me too,
yeah, but no, I wanted it more than you did.
It was a fun time.
Yeah.
You guys,
but no, because I didn't really. I don't know. There's like the moment of euphoria, which is the entrance moment, I guess, and it's like the night is full of possibility, And then it's like, no, not for me. I don't really belong here.
I took you to a club when you came to New York. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because your girlfriend at the time.
Lied about her age?
Yes.
Yes, I remember that. Another
To
story.
be older or younger?
To be younger. It was a whole awkward, like, ID presentation thing that didn't happen.
Let's do the game before we get to the calls. It's very easy. It's called Know Your Lines. We've done this one time before. I don't know if you remember this during the Nick Kroll episode. Know Your Lines. Very simple. So you and Anna have been in a combined 78 movies and 322 episodes of TV. Congratulations.
And we're only 218 years old combined.
In honor of that, we're going to play a game called Know Your Lines. The rules are very simple. I'm going to play a clip of a line from one of your projects, and you have to guess which movie or TV show it's from. You will each get a turn going back and forth.
You're going to totally fucking...
Topher, you're going to go first.
Great.
So-
I'm gonna crush this. I like to watch an episode of 70 Show every night before I go to sleep. So I'm up on this.
All right, first line.
So I stabbed her 9 times in the chest until they got the scalpel away from me.
Topher.
That's Predators.
Very nice.
that was that 70 Show episode 3. Kind of forgotten episode where I murder someone.
Topher's cheating.
Carly,
When
we
I
keep
get
score.
home, I'm gonna frame a bunch of stuff I love, like lasagna.
Ah, smiley face.
That's the easy one. All right, it's tied up 1-1. Topher, this one's yours.
Oh. I'm having a major college flashback here.
Confusion in your eyes.
I think it's In Good Company because of the music. I don't
Nicely
remember
done.
saying that line, but
Nicely done.
Yeah, it's Iron and Wine.
Do you know Iron and Wine?
No. I just wanted to get to my turn.
I'm gonna
right.
do honest too. Let's say first on. Can I try to jump in and see?
Sure.
All right, cool.
I just don't think I could do that with you. I don't watch a lot of other people's work.
All right, this one's for you, Anna.
So 7 days to this very hour? My watch broke. How am I going to know the exact hour?
You want to hear it again? If you want to hear it again, we can play it again for you.
Oh, it's got to be a scary movie.
Don't nod your head, Laura.
Laura.
I'm going to go with Scary Movie 3.
Nicely done. Wow.
No
That was
way.
impressive. Yeah. It's all tied up. All right, Topher, this one's yours.
Jesus Christ, are you people retarded? It says do not disturb!
That's Ocean's 12.
Very nice. Can we use that word anymore? I don't even know.
That was a different time. Also, I'm playing like a real prick in that
Gotcha.
movie. So
it made sense for the character.
although I am playing myself, but I always did this like in Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12. I play but just like, you know, it's funny. They brought us on to do Ocean's 11. It was a bunch of young actors at that time, and everyone was doing like the greatest version of themselves. Like, oh no, well you did it in the Keanu thing. It's like,
Oh,
you can't play
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah,
then it's like,
right.
oh well, you must really be a jerk in real life. So I did like the dumbest idiot, like just the guy you don't want to be.
I mean, yeah, you kind of have to.
You guys are doing great. This is amazing. All right, so Anna, this one's yours. Go for it.
This is a big step, but I think it's the right thing.
Oh my God, of course. Take Me Home Tonight.
What the hell was that, Topher? You
Yeah.
just gave her a look.
Yeah. I know.
Well, I only watched the movie 300 times in editing.
You could have jumped in.
All right, go for it. Topher's.
Whoa. Why don't you just back the fuck up, man? To this place? What is that shit?
This is traffic.
Nicely done. This is very easy for you, isn't it?
You're so fucking good in that movie.
I just want to make it really clear. Like, I don't watch an episode of that 70 Show every night before I go to sleep. That was a joke, right? All right. I feel like now maybe it looks like I'm like, yeah. It's easy because I watch this stuff all the time.
All right, Anna, this one's yours.
He'd barrel into me with that pathetic excuse for a child's penis, and it would end so quickly.
Gotta go with Waiting.
This is really easy. I mean, last time we made it much more difficult. We apologize. This
Maybe
has been way too
I've
easy.
just become more familiar with my work.
All right, well, you guys are crushing it right
But
now.
you guys have picked pretty great, like wonderfully specific lines.
I know. Let's try this one. Maybe it gets harder now.
I should try to guess it before. It might be harder.
Go for it. Topher's.
Has anyone ever painted your portrait?
You got me, dude. I actually don't know what that is. That actually sounded really cheesy. Play that one more time.
Has anyone ever painted your portrait?
That's from just a documentary about my life. I really don't know. That sounds
Painted your
terrible.
portrait? Is it
Has
like...
anyone ever painted your portrait?
Is it like... It wouldn't be Take Me Home Tonight. No.
No.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, what movie are you trying to, like, be seductive? And
I don't know. That's a terrible line reading, too. I'm
no.
so sorry.
How do you deliver that line?
Has anyone ever... Oh, is it from Saturday Night Live?
It's not.
Oh.
It's not. Do you want to know?
No, that would be my guess. Is some comedy thing.
It's from PS.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. PS. I was a painter. I was a painter in PS. That makes sense. It's not the most defining trait of that character, but that was a movie I did with Laura Linney that is a great, like, really small, cool film, and she's amazing.
All right, Anna, this one's yours. We finally stumped Topher.
Small people, they come and go. Small people, they just don't know.
Anna knows this one. This one's easy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Friends.
Nice job.
I loved playing that character. Oh, God.
That was like some next level shit you were channeling in that movie. When you were making that, did you know, like, whoa, what am I doing? Like,
oh, it made me feel so, because on the page it was she was just sort of written as a really, you know, like a bitchy character. So like, and the director just wanted to make her insane, and it made me feel, it was just so delicious to, like, every
so the
day.
director went with you where you wanted to go.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and he also Roger Cumble and Ryan Reynolds, like, we would. It was very collaborative. It was really fun to be like, I'm gonna be like stupid dick, fuck yeah, like it was just delicious.
And in the culture, like, I know it would be great if you saw it now, but also in the culture at that time, it was like, how many of these girls can we make? It
was just so fun to be that insane. Like, nothing rational, like,
so
was
good
happening with their character.
We have one left each. So, Topher, you have to get this right.
I think we're doing this. You
have to get this right.
I think this might be the best I've ever done.
Can I ask you guys a question?
You might win this thing.
Has anyone ever painted your portrait?
Amazing.
Has anyone ever painted your portrait? I think mine was better.
Has anyone ever... What's the line again? Can you play that again, please?
Yeah, please keep playing it.
Has anyone ever painted your portrait?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever painted your portrait?
Has anyone ever painted your portrait with their penis?
No. No, they haven't.
Give me 5 minutes.
All right, Topher, you have to get this one right.
So what's 0.467 times 32? 149.5.
This is too easy. This one was too easy.
I wouldn't be thinking about Take Me Home Tonight unless we were just talking about it for so long. But that's, I know that one is because there was so much math. I had to start memorizing it like 20 days before we shot it.
Anna, if you get this one right, you win.
This will be only the second time.
I want to be on Facebook. What picture did you use?
Wait, hang on. Okay, I'm weirdly breathy. Well, I usually am. I don't want to be on Facebook. Oh, it's got to be What's Your Number?
Anna wins. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. This really means a lot.
Last time it was tougher.
Yeah, I felt like last time it was like you would just play a clip of me going, what?
That's what it was. That's what it was. Okay, Laura, we are ready to get to calls now. And we're going to call Delia. And Delia is in Connecticut, and she's 22. Let's dial. Can you volume a little bit down, thanks. And can you turn the monitor to display as well?
Hello.
Hey, Delia, it's Sim. How are you?
Hi, Sam. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Doing well. Anna, say hi to Delia.
Hi, Delia.
Hi, Anna. It's weird talking to you in person.
Hey, thanks so much for submitting a question. I don't know what it is yet, but Topher Grace is here, and he's fantastic.
Hi. Good to
Delia,
talk
where
to
are you
I
from?
love that 70s show.
Oh, thank you. Where are you from in Connecticut? I'm from Connecticut.
Oh, really? Well, I grew up in Richfield, but I live in Stamford.
Oh my gosh.
Now.
I grew up in Darien and worked at the Stamford Mall all my teenage years at Suncoast Video.
Orange Julius?
No, it's Suncoast Video.
That's so funny. I know a bunch of people from Darien. I don't think I knew that. Wow. Cool.
Wait, isn't that from the movie?
Yeah. Which we then put into a movie that I did with Anna. So, I mean, this was meant to happen.
I'm really hoping for like an iTunes spike in rentals for Take Me Home Tonight after this is released.
Anything would be a spike.
I have to be honest, I haven't seen that movie. So now there will be an iTunes spike. It'll be me going to watch it.
Well, your buddies who you're on the phone with right now are begging you to watch this movie.
Speaking of movies, you have a movie coming out.
August 10th called BLACKKKLANSMAN.
It got like a 7-minute standing ovation at Sundance.
Well,
I think it's 10
minutes,
minutes.
but who's counting? I mean, 10, 3 minutes, whatever.
But you play David Duke.
It's so good. I mean, I
Spike
don't
Lee.
even feel a huge need to like push it, but it's like it's really like amazing. Like to be in a movie that's that good, that says something that's that powerful. I hadn't seen it before the premiere. I was doing a movie in Canada, so to then go to the Cannes Film Festival and watch it for the first. I mean, it would have been good if just the movie was good, but then to get this huge ovation and everyone was talking about it, it was so cool. Yeah.
I was just going to say that I'm on a sitcom called Mom. we didn't get into Cannes this year.
I will tell you that on the downside, when they were doing this huge, I mean, like a 1-minute standing ovation is way too long. Like a 10-minute standing ovation is like, I mean, it's just embarrassing. But they take a camera and they put it on everyone's face in the cast, and you're up on the big screen live. I didn't even know this is something that happens in Cannes. So first they went to John David Washington, who's the star, and then they went to Laura Harrier, who's the female star, and then they went to me, and I play the Grand Master Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. And the audience like kind of stopped clapping, but they were clapping. I mean, I don't think they thought I did a bad job acting. I hope, but like they were like, I'm not sure if we should applaud this. That was the only lull in the applause. And then they went to like Adam Driver and everyone. Oh, like he's fantastic. Okay, I guess this is kind of a side effect of playing like a human piece of shit.
Delia, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's funny.
Delia, I just wanted to call you and talk to you about my career.
No. Go on. You're giving a glowing review right now.
There's actually, if you watch a bunch of 70s show, there's a lot of levels to those performances. So check a couple of those out again.
All right, Delia, we're going to get to you now. Tell us what's going on.
Okay. All right. So I'll try and be quick and concise and to the point.
Go for it.
So basically, I just got out of a long-term 2.5-year relationship. So I'm 22 years old. He's 27. It was a really great relationship with a lot of love and respect and really great all around. I guess I genuinely thought I would marry this guy, which as I listened to your guys' podcast, I realized I'm 22. And anyway, and we talked about it, and the only problem is, or not the only, but I live in Stanford, which is kind of a fun young professional city. It's 45 minutes outside of New York. And he lives in a cute kind of Connecticut suburb where families settle down, but 27-year-olds don't. It's not ideal for a 27-year-old. He works for his dad's company. He owns his own place, has a dog. And I guess I've known this for a while, feels a little bit trapped in his own life. So flash forward to about a month and a half ago, he gets a text saying from a friend who, I don't know who the friend is. He never told me. But it's saying things along the lines of, clearly I was there with this one guy. I was flirting with him. It was completely inappropriate. It looks like I was going to go home with this guy. And then kind of ended the text by saying, I'm so sorry to tell you this. You deserve better, et cetera, et cetera. So he kind of sent me a screenshot of that text, and I'm the type of person that wants to resolve things quickly. And I knew I had basically done nothing wrong. So I was like, I reached out to him immediately, called him a bunch of times. He didn't talk to me for a day. And then when we did talk, he was like, look, I understand people flirt. It's okay. Let's just not. He basically was like, I don't want to talk about this again. Let's not mention it. 2 weeks later, we have a trip planned to Mexico for 10 days. I'm a student, so I was about to, going through my finals week. The weekend before the Mexico trip, he goes to Philly with his brothers and his best friend. He comes back that Monday, breaks up with me. It's like, hey, I need to talk to you, calls me on the phone. We have this really long, drawn-out breakup, like 10 hours of us just crying and being like, we love each other, whatever. He's like, you're the best person in my life. Getting that text, though, made me realize how unhappy I am in my own life. He was basically like, I have to figure my own life out. it just really sucked reading that about you. And basically he was like, I can't rely on you to make me happy. I need to figure things out. I'm kind of stuck in a rut in my own life. And he was like, I have to fix my own shit before I can be with anyone. And he was like, I love you and I'll never close the door on us. So anyway, great, respectful breakup. I completely understood. As sad as it was, we parted ways. For about 2 weeks, we back and forth, the typical, I miss you, I love you, this is hard, whatever. Then he, 2 weeks later, Saturday, he gets a tattoo. Doesn't tell me about it. I mean, it's not like we were really talking, but anyway, this is relevant to the story a little bit. So that night, I'm out with my friends. I'm upset about the tattoo. I'm like, that kind of sucks. My friend, who is the guy that I was accused of flirting with 2 or 3 weeks prior, sees, that I'm upset and is like, do you want to go to a different bar and talk about this? And so he actually just got out of a relationship as well. So we go to a different bar. Nothing happens. I talk about my ex-boyfriend the whole time, which probably wasn't great for him, but he's a friend. He's easy to talk to. Then our friends are like, hey, we're going to this other bar, like meet up with us there. So we go to that bar. We're waiting in line for the bouncer to check IDs, and my ex's little brother's best friends get in line right behind us. And they're like, oh my God, Delia, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. Where's Ben? And I was like, he broke up with me, and then one of his friends, and then I introduced him to my friend, and he was like, the brother's friend kind of did a suggestive, like, eye thing, being like, moving on quickly, aren't we? And like, the type of thing where like my stomach dropped and I was like, it's not what it looks like. And then the other friend was like, like that explains the tattoo, blah, blah, blah. Then I try and get out of the situation because, obviously I've been drinking. It's the very end of the night. We go into the bar, we find our other friends, and then I, being, my drunk self, I was like, I can resolve this really quickly. So I see the friends at the bar, I walk up to them, and I was like, hey, could you do me a favor? Please don't say anything to Ben. I know this looks bad, but I really swear it's nothing, and I really don't want to hurt him or make him think anything of this. So a couple days later, I text Ben about the trip to Mexico, talking about the refund. I was like, were you able to get some? Anyway, he's like, yes, Venmo's me. That's done. And then he follows up by saying, I heard about what happened on Saturday night. I think it's best we don't talk for a long while. Me being me, problem solver, immediately, I was like, there's nothing to be upset about in my mind. So I reached out to him a bunch. He ignored me. He started posting a bunch on Instagram, Snapchat, making stories all the time. I, sent him a message and I'm like, can you please stop posting? You're not responding to me. It's so unkind. I didn't do anything wrong, blah, 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 blah. He responds saying, you were a cheating girlfriend. You're hooking up with guys left, right, and center in Stanford now. Like, you're upset. Like, you're saying I'm doing something wrong, but like you've been doing something wrong this whole time. Also, he's at a bachelor party, so a lot of boy stuff. Anyway, so the next day I text him back and I say, I really hope you don't have that opinion of me. I would hope you know me well enough. You know me better than anyone. We dated for 2.5 years. I would hope you know I would never do that to you. I'm genuinely not capable of it. So anyway, he responds, says something along the lines of, I don't know what to believe. I don't think I know you anymore. And we don't talk for a couple days, and then or a day or two. And then I sent him a text, something about like, it was not relevant to the conversation. I was just like, hey, like, I hope you're doing okay. Like, I'm worried about you. He sends me a text message, really, really long, the kind where like, when you hit, like, you have to hit the blue thing to get over to like this white, like, essay. So it's clearly pre-written. He like sent it back within a second. And it was a message about how much I've changed. And if I can't recognize that, if I was out with a guy 10 days after we broke up, I'm so sketchy. He can't believe who I've become. Like, he's very disappointed in me. And he was like, he'd hoped there was a future for us, or maybe even friendship. But the second he found out I was out that Saturday night with with the guy, it all evaporated. He was like, you're a bad person. I don't recognize who you've become. He was like, I'll be dating. I hope you know that. And I hope you find what you're looking for in life and love. And I sent a text message back, kind of giving a blow-by-blow of that night. And then I was like, yes, I was hanging out with David, but he's just a friend. Obviously, I'm not capable of cheating on you, number one, and moving on so quickly, number two. I'm not hooking up with any guys right now. I'm sad, and I miss you. And then I followed it up by being like, I know this is coming from a place of hurt. I want you to be happy. And I hope one day you'll realize I'd never betray you. You're an amazing guy. I hope you can realize that about yourself, blah, blah, blah. Just very kind. His only response was, I didn't realize the guy you were out with that night was David. That makes things so much worse. I'm going to need a lot of space. And this is the day before yesterday. And I followed up and just said, if that's all you got from that text, first of all, I said he was a friend. There's no conclusions to come to. And if that's the only point you got, then all I can say is I wish you the best. I'll give you all the space you need. And I deleted his number, texted my roommate. I was like, you have it just in case, but I don't have it memorized, thank God. Deleted our text stream, everything, so I won't be tempted to reach out to him, or even if I am, I won't be able to. So anyway, up to present day, my question basically is, should I try to convince him I never cheated on him? We ended with a lot of love and respect, and it's really hard knowing now that he has such a negative opinion of me. So
I have a few questions before I get to my bigger question. What was the tattoo? But also, how did you find out about it if he didn't tell you? My larger question is, it seems to me like he's got an alternate lifestyle going on, and he's trying to cover his tracks a little bit. Does that make sense?
Talk about the tattoo first.
Okay, so the tattoo, he's a huge Star Wars fan, and he got the Rebel Alliance symbol on his arm. And I found out about it because I follow him on social media, and I saw it, and then he posted a picture of it, and then my sister texted me about it and was like, did you see this? So that's how I found out about it, basically.
And then when you talked about him going to, for whatever, guys' weekend, and because to me his high defense, I don't know if you guys would agree with this, seems like he had something going on. And this is his way of being proactive in the matter by blaming you for a mild flirtation.
Do you think that he had something going on?
I've definitely thought about it because I was like, it's strange that he came back from Philly, but no, his sister and his cousins all live in Philly. And honestly, I think he went to Philly to I think he already knew that, it wasn't working and he was just needed to get away for the weekend. And it was very clarifying for him. So I think the core problem is I live in a great fun city and he's stuck in a suburb, and just, there's a lot of resentment, I think. I just moved here last fall, and that's when all this stuff kind of came to the surface, stuff I didn't realize he had in him. A lot of jealousy, which I have as well. Anyone who's human does, but.
Okay, here's me being totally unqualified. I feel like when men get really jealous, oftentimes it is because their own behavior makes them feel insecure because they feel guilty. Sometimes jealousy comes out of a feeling of tremendous guilt. And the other thing is the fact that his friends immediately went to him and said, you're hanging out with other dude. There's a world where the conversation is like, dude, you're off the hook. There's still a lot of love. I think you guys have a pattern of communication that isn't great, where you both, you're sort of wanting to resolve things and being like, is everything okay? Is everything okay? Is everything okay? And he, in response, is like, no. However you guys have established your pattern of communication, if you do want a future with him, which I don't know if you should, everything would have to be kind of reworked, I think, because right now it seems like he's got a lot of power and you feel a lot of guilt because he's able to tell you oh, you're whatever, you're hot, your life is exciting, I'm working for my dad. And then in turn, you feel the need to please him a lot. And that's not a fair position for you, this imbalance of power. Does that make, I don't know, do you guys agree with me?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Knowing what you know about him now and after this whole thing, do you personally actually want to be back together with him?
Honestly, I don't know, because I didn't know this side of him existed, I guess. And I'm just very surprised that him, knowing me very well, believes I'm capable of this. If I did, it would be, more along the lines of life is very long and timing is everything. And maybe right now it didn't work out. And 5-6 years down the line, I see him and it works out. But I think that's the only capacity that I would see it working in.
For you, not would it work for him? I mean, do you want to be with him?
Oh, no, for me. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Because I've had the same thing in my life where friendships and relationships where there's a falling out, and I always try to look at it like, what do I selfishly want? Because the circumstances can make you feel like you want something that you might not want. Maybe it's kind of what he's trying to make you feel.
Yeah, and I think we're conditioned to be in a relationship, to have a sense of security, of course. But I also think that that if he struggles with his own happiness, I've had to learn kind of the hard way that those are things that are out of your control. You can make somebody happy only to a certain degree, and then the rest of the time, it's the struggle to try to make somebody happy.
Preach. Yes.
I remember having the feeling one time of like eventually, after trying to make somebody happy, and then eventually being like, I can't. I like he's forcing my hand, of feeling like this. Eventually, but it took years of it felt like this backpack had been taken off my shoulders. It was like, oh, I'm gonna like think about myself, because truly, like he's forcing your hand a little bit here. You can't give up your life or your career to make sure that he feels comfortable. It is a little unfair, more than a little unfair, that he's punishing you with. I'm really proud that you like deleted his number. I think that's really impressive, because it's hard.
Thank you.
The pattern of most breakups, it goes like this intense relationship, and then there's a breakup, and then there's like a month or two of like a tiny reach out here and there. We're all sort of emotionally attached to each other, of course. And then there's a reconciliation, and then the sort of the time increments of the slow, long breakup lasts. It gets shorter and shorter and shorter, but it lasts for a long time sometimes. So if you could sort of recognize that idea and recognize what you love about him and what joy he gives to you, that's one thing. But I don't want you to be in a position where you're constantly texting him and checking in on him. And like, I do suspect that he's feeling really guilty about something. So that's why he needed to go on the attack, and his friends probably backed him up on that. And that's why they told him. And it also sounds like there's a lot of other people involved in your relationship, between like your sister and his friends and the community or whatever. So I think these are just all things to take into consideration, but I don't think he's in a place right now here where he can give you enough.
He's not in that place to have a mature relationship. That's already established. I'm really upset by the fact that his friends completely did that to you. And I hate that when guys listen to their friends, and it's just one of those things where that annoys me.
But that's the thing, is that his friends are complicit. Because Delia, I hope this isn't necessarily true, but they probably have all been like fucking around on all of their relationships, and this is how like, dude, like we saw her out, like you're off the hook.
They're just stirring shit up for no reason without even.
But you know what I'm saying about the off the hook part?
Yeah, no, like, exactly. That's what I've thought. I've been like, why'd they have to text that? They could have just come up to me when they saw me at the bar thinking I was flirting with someone and been like, hey, like, what about Ben? And I'd be like, oh, wait, let me introduce you to my friends who he knows I'm out with. That type of thing. Yeah,
I don't think that the patterns that you guys have established, it's either a complete reworking that takes some time.
But she also wants to know right now if she should try and convince him that she didn't cheat.
No.
Is that something that she should do?
No. Because
she should just let it go.
You don't think?
No, because he'll only believe what he wants to believe, and he wants to believe that you did right now.
Delia, I am so much older than you. I have so many experiences in my life, friendships and relationships that have ended with like, that person's forever going to think X, Y, Z. And all I can tell you is from where I'm sitting, like, where are you at with it? Not what does he think, and do you have to conform to be what he wants? Or
yeah, he wants to right now believe that you are a guilty party member, probably because he feels guilty. I just don't want him to continue to punish you. If you reach out for his...
That's kind of what I realized.
Yeah,
I was like, there's no... What I want to happen from this is I want him to be like, no, Delia, I know you're a good person. I know that. but I realized that wasn't going to happen. And so that's why I deleted his number.
Delia, this should open your eyes as to who this person really is and what your future would look like. If he's going to be like this is not someone that you want to spend your life with this guy. You just don't want to spend your life with a guy like that.
Anybody who says you've changed or like you've disappointed me, like those are incredibly manipulative things that we only say behind each other's backs.
You've changed, Anna.
But that's a really manipulative, almost parental and patronizing thing to say.
Well, that's where the age thing kind of comes in. It definitely, that at some points our relationship kind of went that way because he's 27 and I'm 22, and we met when I was 20 and he was 25. And so that definitely was a bit of a trend. And I was like, I don't know when I'm going to catch up to you. I'm too young. I love you, but I can't catch up to where you are right now. That's not possible.
But like, a 12-year-old, it's under the guise of maturity, but like a 12-year-old says, you've changed. Like,
I wasn't a mature 27-year-old guy.
No, but
Topher's
but it's like what the fuck does that even mean? I mean, that touches a nerve with me, of course, because I'm a big time actress now in Hollywood.
Yeah, when I knew you back in the day, you did not used to talk like this. You used to be a lot cooler.
No, but I think that I think he's manipulative, and I'm not quite sure why. Probably because he's miserable, and trying to convince him of anything, at least right now, while things feel pretty raw, only sort of opens the door to like
toxic back and forth.
Yeah, him portraying himself as a victim and you feeling the need to save him.
I mean, that's the ironic thing, because he broke up with me, and somehow I feel so guilty right now.
Yeah, please don't. You didn't do anything wrong, and it's like you like that. This is what the 20s are for. And, there's got to be all kinds of issues like working for a family company or whatever. Like, there's all kinds of shit going on, and having a bunch of bros and whatever, and wanting a larger life. And yeah. So I think
you'll be fine, Delia.
Yeah.
So thanks, Sam. That's a big thing. I'm listening to your guys' podcast, and I'm like, I will be fine. I know that.
Yes, you will be.
Very hard right now. But I swear you guys are on repeat, like lots of reruns of Unqualified right now.
What won't be fine is you at 26 having struggled with a relationship for this long and feeling like, oh my God, why did I waste time? I say that as the person who's feeling old. But I know it's so much easier said than done. And I'm sorry that you're going through this. And I
guess I have one final question for you guys. So I kind of thought maybe, in a couple months from now, I could reach back out to him and be like, not to want to get back together, but just to, since things have gone to such a toxic place, if I was like, could we grab coffee and just talk about what really went down, just so we can, I mean, I know closure is not a thing that you're a huge fan of, Anna.
I know.
But
I was waiting for you to use that word. I was going to pounce on it.
Less of a toxic end when I look back on this.
No, listen, here's the thing. It will in time, but right now, I bet that he will reach out to you, in which case call us again. But because I want to know what kind of words he would use. But I do think that there's no easy end to any relationship. And that's why I love the idea of closure, but I don't really believe in it, because inevitably things will always be a bit raw because you shared an intimacy with somebody that you don't anymore, and you had like high hopes for whatever a future. But the good news is this: with all of these experiences, it develops you as a person, and like you get a sort of a deeper sense of empathy, and you have better stories, and you become richer through heartbreak, I think. Or is that just is that glass half full?
It's actually like what we were talking about, even in some of the work Anna and I have done. You kind of try something, and so many of your hopes are pinned to its success, and when it doesn't work out, it feels bad, but actually you planted the seeds for your future success. I sound like Tony Robbins, but that's the truth.
No, but that's a great way to think of it, I guess. Planting the seeds for your future success.
When you're 26, like Anna said, and you're dating an awesome guy, you're going to go, I'm so glad I went through all this, in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, because then it makes you. My mom used to. Well, we talk a lot about like being selfish in love and how I never really understood what it meant. But I do think, the idea of protecting yourself, ensuring your happiness makes you a better lover and better in a relationship because if your happiness will of course make somebody else really happy who's willing to accept it. Oh God, who am I?
You've changed. You're really selfish.
All right, we should wrap up this call.
Hey, thank you. Will you keep us posted? Don't reach out to him. Don't make a decision about coffee.
There's no more bad things to share about this.
Yeah, and listen, the world's your oyster, which always never really made a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, watch Take Me Home Tonight. It'll all make sense.
Delia, thank you.
Thank you. I love you.
Well, thank you so much. I love you as well. Your podcast has been great, opening my eyes with the whole breakup situation. So thank you. And thanks for giving me advice just now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Delia.
Bye.
Hey, Topher. We got to wrap it up, I guess.
I'm down to stay for as long as...
Should we give you a 12-minute standing ovation?
Yeah, guys, last time I did something, I got a 10 minutes, so...
All right, honestly, 10 minutes, dude, that's a long time.
Look, some of it's cultural, so you got to give it to... It's French. They're the French over there. But
because 30 seconds seems like a long time to stand and clap.
People were throwing roses and stuff. I mean, it was like... by the way, I'm not saying like I expected that to happen. I've been working for 20 years. Like, I've never had an experience like that. It was... I'll tell you the craziest thing of the whole thing is I did a film a couple of years ago with Christopher Nolan, Interstellar. It was like an amazing experience. And I had a small part in it. I was, anything to work with that guy. And I wanted to work with more auteurs like him and Spike Lee and stuff. So I didn't know he was in the audience. And at the end, I was passing him and I said, oh my God, Chris, who's like a god of filmmaking. And he said, wow, great job. And I thought, what planet am I on? I'm in Hollywood heaven. It was just so great.
I have two thoughts right now. Number one, if I never work again as an actor or a podcaster, I want to be like that person that's hired to be the most enthusiastic, applauding. I'll just keep it going. I'll be
the theater's closed.
I will not.
It's dark. You're just still clapping.
I'm going to be motioning for everyone to get up again and keep going. Whoa, yeah, wasn't that the best? Whatever. My second thought was this, Topher. When we are in our early 90s, can we be like those actors that just trade long, boring story after long, boring story?
Did I go too Hollywood on this podcast? Is this your way of... It's not normally this Hollywood? I went a little too Hollywood. Sorry, if anyone is listening to Unqualified, Chris Nolan directed Inception and the Batman movies, which you're probably familiar with.
Tell us again about when you met him.
When I met him? Yeah, he said, kid, you got it. Am I clubbing in the mid-2000s? Sorry, guys. It's a relationship advice show. Here's the thing. I'm not very good at relationships, so I had to fill it with something.
That's not true. That's a longer conversation. But you've been in a lot of long-term relationships.
But none of them, whoever I was in the relationship with, including my marriage now, I am the winner. You know what I mean? The other person is I feel bad for him. Yeah.
No, I don't know what you mean. I don't think that's true at all.
You're right. I'm just trying to be modest. I'm crushing it.
Hey, Topher, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. I said it at the beginning, but what an experience always to
thanks.
Be with you.
You're incredible. Congratulations on the ovation. And one day a girl can dream.
I'm going to be there on the set of Mother. Just
It's called Mom.
Mother. Oh, yeah. That wasn't you? A Darren Aronofsky movie? Sorry. I went to filmmaker again.
Good night, everyone.